Hey guys, my name is Mine. Okay, that's great. Hey guys, my name is Ryan.
And my name is Mysca.
And welcome to Overwatch Central. This is a little bit more of a different sort of format to a video, but we've very much done these kind of things in the past. It's more of a discussion about what's going on in the game currently. We can both sit down even and talk about aspects of the game that we like, that we don't like, especially surrounding all of the buffs and nerfs that went out this week too.
And basically just have a quick look through what's been happening lately. We don't really talk about the entire patch. We don't really read the entire patch notes anymore. So we thought that doing that as more of a discussion thing with both of us in the same room, just talking without any sort of script or anything like that, or any real talking points really, just naturally having a conversation about it. Should be really good. So let's just get straight into it. Where do you want to start?
So one thing I want to say is get your opinions on this too in the comments. Mostly about Hanzo, Brigitte, Anna. Those changes that went onto the live patch on Tuesday. What do you sort of think of them? And I do want to start with Anna, because one of the things that people have raised, certainly Anna's players with a lot of hours in her, are actually saying that the buff to her is actually more of a nerf. And this is really interesting when you look at it this way, because, so just to remind people, the Anna buff was that she can now heal through targets that are full health, meaning that if you have I can actually use my hands to sort of prove this. Say this person at the back here needs healing, but there's a big Roadhog in front, and you need to sort of shoot through them. If the Roadhog's full health, the sort of shot that you will have will pass through him and heal the person in the back, which sounds great. The issue with that is that doesn't happen an awful lot, really.
Yeah, very true.
So one of the areas is that Anna can't actually do any pre-healing of any sort. So if she shoots somebody, the shot passes through them. And the problem with that is if they're sort of taking damage, as in you shoot, it goes through them, a Pharah hits them, it basically, you're doing no healing. You're trying to action a heal, but it's not actually going through. And being honest, neither of us really play an awful lot of Anna. I managed to last night. It went pretty well.
It was actually my first golden gun ever. I did actually.
Really?
Yeah, I played her a little bit in sort of season 2, 3, but mostly when I've been playing her recently, it's been custom games and on actual ranked, of course. But I do definitely agree that the thing about it is that it's very easy for Blizzard to go, right, you can't heal through people, so let's try and help out with that, when people are clumped up. And then they test that when people are clumped up, and it works very well in that scenario. However, in a normal ranked game, people are they're not very coordinated, and you're usually pretty spread out. Most of the time, you're healing one target that's going in, maybe a Reinhardt that really, really needs it, and you're just pumping healing into them. And you really want to make sure that when they do get hit, you are there to already be healing.
Exactly.
And that's what's been almost made harder. And I think that's kind of what the main sort of problem is, to be honest. That's a very sort of, it affects you all the time. And that's just one of those things that, when that's been changed, that makes it a bit more difficult to play the character.
Yeah, and I think looking at it that way is okay, if this is a change, we won't reference it as a buff or a nerf. What is it good for? Well, it's good if you need to heal people that are grouped up together. You don't want to constantly heal that Lucio that keeps popping in the way. He's fine, he's full health. You want to heal the Roadhog that's dying behind him. You can do that now. But the areas and maps, I suppose, that Anna's really good at are those open spaces. First point Hanamura, first point Nirvana on the high ground, where everybody's in different spots. Nobody's really going to be that clumped up together. But if they are, you do have your grenade just in case you want to heal up a lot of targets at once.
Maybe all the developers at Blizzard just play the hero differently, and they just always stick behind the team on the low ground, behind all of them. But that's the thing. Just like with Zenyatta, you kind of want to be further back and just have a bit of an overview of what's going on, rather than just in the thick of it. And Ana does that very well a lot of the time. And the thing about Zenyatta doing that very well is that he can just put the orb on someone, and then that is pre-healing.
Yeah.
But Ana does just not have that ability anymore. And she's one of the few supports that is in that situation where she can't really pre-heal at all. I think we talked about Moira being a little bit
with
that,
the orb. If everybody's full health and you use an orb, it will just fly away.
Yeah, exactly. But she still has some potential to sort of not necessarily pre-heal, but preemptively help out there. Whilst Ana just doesn't really have that at all anymore. It's kind of difficult.
I think it's the term overhealing. Lucio always does overhealing if he's in his aura. Mercy can do that too. And nobody's really sort of damaged for it, really. But Anna can no longer do that. But sometimes being able to just heal preemptively before people take damage is a really big thing. Especially the fact that Ana missing shots is such a big problem. Zenyatta, you could, like, if an orb's on a character that doesn't need the healing, it's not a problem. But if you're actively shooting somebody as Ana and your shots aren't doing anything, even if you're hitting a target and it's just like, well, there's no point in you shooting, so we're just not going to count it for anything, that's a big problem, because this is an aim-intensive hero. It's like McCree shooting somebody that's like, oh, if they're below 50% like damage, then you don't actually do any damage to them. And it's like, what?
Yeah, exactly. I think, as a lot of people pointed out as well, it's not even necessarily just about like, oh, the hero is just so much worse now. It's just about how they feel to play. Ana was already not a great hero overall, like looking at it stats-wise. She was just not doing very well lately, and now this has happened too, making the character just feel very different and feel worse, arguably. And I think that's kind of like one of the main things, that if the hero is just not fun and doesn't feel good to play, then what's the point, really? Exactly. I think that because of that, it's also a very difficult topic to discuss, as Blizzard just have to kind of take a stance on it and change something. But yeah, anyway, do you want to move on to maybe another hero?
I think for certain, like, one of the areas I want to look at is both Brigitte and Hanzo. Both were like nerfed. There's no really other way. It's not a positive
it's
change.
Just a nerf. Yeah, exactly.
I think for Brigitte, like, I managed to play a good sort of 6 to 7 hours of competitive since these changes went in by the time this video has gone out, so probably more by then actually. So it's one of those things that the game doesn't feel as bad. It's still pretty oppressive triple support Hanzo meta. But we'll start with Brigitte first. The rally, the maximum armor per like player that you can give them is 100 instead of 150, and the shield bash cooldown has gone from 5 to 6 seconds, both of which I completely forgot about the rally change when I was playing Brigitte in game.
Really?
And the cooldown still doesn't feel too bad. Like, this is nice in the sense that they're not just completely tanking Brigitte, that like, okay, she's really oppressive, let's just fucking nerf her to the ground, let's shut her down completely.
I really thought they would put it from 5 to 7 instead of 5 to 6, because 5 to 6 really is not a huge difference. 5 to 7 you feel a little bit more. I tried them out in like custom games with other people as well, and you really feel 5 to 7 a lot more. 5 to 6 is not as bad, but I think the armor cap of 150 to 100 is great. It's exactly like what was kind of needed, because it just got a bit ridiculous to have like a Zenyatta that has 400 HP pretty much.
Jay Jonak just running around like a tank. The good thing about this too is, you know, one of the things that people are concerned about is, you know, Brigitte and all of the other heroes keep their armor after she rallies. Pair that with a Symmetra with a shield generator, you've got 150 extra HP. But the caveat to that is Symmetra's getting changed. Probably, maybe even by the time this video goes out.
Yeah, honestly,
it could have gone out. So it's one of those areas that it's a very temporary problem we will run into in the game. And even then, I'd still like to see Rally procedurally like decay down her armor.
For sure.
You should be able to use Rally and get away with it outside of a fight. It should be just before, like a Valkyrie.
Because of that, it's just this completely different ultimate. You just apply and affect your whole team. And because there are no other ultimates like that, and because there are no other ultimates that reward you in that way for just using them, like, when not fighting, when not really doing anything, it is very difficult to balance that. Because there's nothing that can kind of compete with that type of way of playing. And that's very difficult. I think also just going on to Hanzo as well, just because I want to mention it.
Definitely.
The interesting thing, obviously, storm arrows were nerfed from 80 damage to 70, in case you don't know. That's per arrow, obviously. But the main thing about Hanzo right now, and why these changes don't even really affect these two heroes' position right now, is sure, they're both a little bit worse, but that is about it. The actual comp that they are still played in, which is Hanzo, Reinhardt, Zarya, Brigitte, Zenyatta, Mercy, is not really going anywhere. And that's kind of the hard part about this. It's very difficult to play up against that composition right now on ladder. Sure, in Overwatch League, we see a lot more sort of variety. There's still a whole lot of that comp, and that's very similar comps, but it's very hard to move that. And I think there's nothing that can properly like compete with that right now. And because of it, that feels very oppressing.
See, that's the thing. It kind of goes full circle back to Ana, because the times I picked up Ana in the gameplay that we watched, granted it's not very good because I'm not a very aim-intensive player myself, but like the times I picked up Ana were when we were going into triple support, because like it makes sense, right? You have this hero that can put out an anti-heal, and half the enemy team is there to heal up. So if you're losing this damage fight and you're just basically not getting any kills or anything, Ana's great just to throw in the anti-grenade to shut down a lot of what they want to do.
It's pretty good just against a Brigitte on her own as well.
Exactly.
And one very interesting thing, I played I think 3 or 4 games in a row not too long ago with this, and that was basically these comps, the comps that I just mentioned, mirror comp on I think King's Row and a bunch of other maps, but yeah, basically those two comps. And the main thing was that both teams eventually over time started picking up Ana. And that was mostly because, you would grab the enemy team and they would just Zen ult.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of like, that's kind of a problem. You don't really have much that can go through that. Sure, Hanzo ult helped, but it's difficult. But then if they get that anti-nade in there, that's a big thing. And it can be a big turning point. And I think those sort of moments and that type of utility that Ana has and no other hero has, that very strong anti-heal, is really what shows that Ana still has potential as a hero.
Yeah, definitely.
As she is right now, it's just the meta doesn't really allow for it, and especially with the Ana change that we just talked about, it doesn't really help.
It's just surprising that it didn't help. It's also worth adding that the ammo clip has increased from 10 to 14 for Ana. We forgot to mention that earlier.
Oh yeah, very true.
It's very easy to sort of forget stuff like that, but you'd think that it's seeing nice these changes, I think that's the main thing we wanted to highlight in this, is that you see these changes are good. That sounds like it's going to be good, but there are negative connotations to it, and I thought that was one of the more interesting areas, but I also hadn't actually managed to sit down to talk about Brigitte or Hanzo in this meta.
Yeah.
I think if they're putting in small gradual changes like this, then they need to be more frequent about it, because Blizzard especially recently seemed to take a while before they actually implement buffs and stuff, and nerfs especially.
It does take them a while.
So if they're going to take a few weeks to nerf Hanzo or Brigitte, then it should be a bit more severe than they actually were. Or this is fine so long as they keep incrementing on these changes.
And just something like increasing the ammo like the clip size or whatever for from 10 to 14 for Ana. It's just kind of like, it's a nice thing to have and all. It looks good on paper. It definitely is helpful in certain situations.
It's what people have asked for a while.
But that, it's not gonna just completely revive this hero that has just been flatlining in terms of pick rate for a long time now.
Most importantly, win rate too.
Win rate, actually. Yeah, most importantly, win rate, yeah. She's just been very much down there. If you look at stats, Ana's win rate is absolutely horrible. And it's kind of interesting. I know some people that don't really look at Overwatch stats a lot kind of play the game a bit, but a lot of people don't necessarily just pick up on Ana doing just as as bad as she really is. It's kind of hard to gauge when you're just playing the game, because you kind of just forget about it, and then you feel like Ana would be decent here, and reality is that she's just not doing well. Please send help,
Blizzard. Please help us. It's weird how this has sort of come about. It's certainly made it interesting for me, but do let us know what you guys think about this potential Ana buff being a potential Ana nerf, actually, with how it works. If you play a lot of Ana, do definitely let us know in the comments below. And Brigitte, Hanzo, do they need anything? Basically. And if you want to see more of these, do let us know. Like and subscribe if you want to see more too. And until next time, take care. We'll see you then.